Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to a special mini-episode of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Now, I've had a number of viewers asking me to do something like this for quite some time now, to get to know our companions a little better by going through their dialogue. I've resisted it thus far because they can get pretty wordy, and I'd rather focus the main episodes on adventuring and story-based content. That said, I do think the companions have a lot of interesting things to say, and a lot of it does circle back into later story events. Anyway, since I'm currently getting myself up to speed with the massive new version 1.1 update that was just released, I thought we'd try something a little different today. This'll be a fairly short and casual video. We'll get to know one of our companions better, we'll learn a little bit more about the setting, and for those of you who don't care about this stuff, I'll have a normal episode out later this week. As usual, this is just another experiment, so be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll try to take everyone's feedback into account. That said, we can clearly see Linzi starting to get antsy over there, so let's cut the introduction short and spend some time getting to know our favorite bard. A halfling girl with tousled hair, wearing a dusty traveler's outfit, sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment. How should I put this? Oh, I know. She scribbles something quickly in a notebook scrawled with verse, raises her eyes, and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi. Linzi, tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Where are you from? I'm from all over. I was actually born in Galt, in such a tiny village that it's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, and using books only as kindling. Who was your teacher? He's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital, at the Church of Shaylin. But he got in trouble with the authorities and went on a self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most god-forsaken, priestless village he could find, the one where I was born. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's heads. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write, and he gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Archknights of Avestan, and when I told him I was going on a journey, he gave me a magic ring so that Shaylin would protect me from harm. I haven't seen him since I ran away from home. I hope he's all right. I ask Shaylin every day to grant him a long life, and to new students. Archknights of Avestan? Who are they? Oh, you haven't heard of them? How can you be a hero without knowing one of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No, I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself, every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now, look at me, here I am, on a heroic quest. How did you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me on as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor, and even Ustalav, and then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Patax, and I thought, well, I love reading stories, so I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, but that's okay. They'd already taught me all the important stuff. And now, with Shaylin's help, I can manage on my own. Do you worship Shaylin? Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is, but only the eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls us to the world as it should be. If that's the case, then why are your clothes so messy? Linzi waves her hand carelessly. Forget it. I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Fair enough. Let me ask you about something else. Of course, please ask. I'd be happy to chat all day. You come from Patax, right? Tell me about it. Oh, I love Patax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What is life in Patax like? Actually, Patax has always been one huge nest of thieves. Bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharps. It's always been home for the likes of them. But that was before Irovetti became king. With him, a whole different life began there. Irovetti always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown. Though that's exactly what he is. He wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Patax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. What do you know of King Irovetti? He won his crown in a game of cards, which says as much about Patax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Patax. And also, he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. Getting drunk with whores at the pub, that's not Lord Irovetti's style. Oh no, he aims higher. Dressing up like a male Calistria with a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more like it. He also likes singing. And he orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shaylin have mercy on his listeners. Tell me about the academy you studied at. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Irovetti for building it, but he has no taste. At all. Whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and, most importantly, glorifying His Royal Highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianxia for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the academy to expel me, and for what? An innocent limerick. Would you like to go back to the academy and finish your studies? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now and returned the ones they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Irovetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. As long as mediocre lickspittles sit at the academy and those with real talent beg on the streets of Patax, I will not cross the threshold of that place. Well then, let's talk about something else. Of course, ask away. Tell me about that book you're writing. What's there to tell? You've seen some of my rough drafts already, haven't you? It's a book about you and your adventures. I'm writing the whole truth just as it happened. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. Why are you writing it? What's the point? When I was at the academy, Eobald the Insightful began his literature course with the question, "What is a person?" And he answered, "A person is a storytelling animal." Our world does not consist of things, all these woods, seas, and cities. It consists of stories about those things. The stories we tell to ourselves and to each other. Just think about it. Centuries will pass and there will be no me and no you. All your subjects will be long gone, but you and I will live on in people's memories and influence their deeds, thanks to this very book. No offense, but your command of language is not that good. Sorry, Linzi. The truth doesn't hurt me. Who do you think my most severe critic is? That's right, it's me. This is my first real book, and I have much yet to learn. But don't you worry, I will do your feats justice. And if I put my foot in my mouth here and there, then we can print a second edition, revised and corrected. Your book is full of inconsistencies. Well, yes, I can admit that. Sometimes one has to bend a few details for the sake of dramatic effect. It's called poetic truth. I write about everything as if I saw it with my own eyes, even parts of the adventure that I wasn't around for. But I do always carefully question everyone who was with you at the time. Think of it as of a general picture. In the end, you're the hero of this book, and I am just the storyteller. So, what kind of character am I? Truth be told, I was a little afraid of meeting a real hero. In books, they're all protectors of the weak and poor, but what about in real life? But you eased all my fears with 2 shakes of a tail. You're a true hero, just like in the legends. My new fear is that in 100 years, my readers will say that people like you never existed, but I'm writing the truth. Sometimes you follow the rules and sometimes you make up your own. Your actions are hard to predict. It's what makes you so interesting to read about. How do you feel about me reading your work in progress? Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that even if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course it's a book about you, but it's my book. Understood? The small writer's eyes glow rebelliously. Oh, Linzi. Now let's see here. Write whatever you wish. I doubt you would defame me, or for that matter, overpraise. Thank you for your trust. I will not set out to please you, of course, but I still hope you'll like my book as much as my other readers. Let me ask you about something else. Of course, I'd be happy to. Tell me about your friendship with Tessie the Quill. What's there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to really get out of my village. At first, Tessie tried in vain to get rid of me, but later, when I told her I was staying in Patax, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. What's the deal with the ring you always wear on your finger? Ah, this. Linzi holds her arm for you to get a clear view of the ring. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued by the powers of Shaylin, no less. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So, please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here, promise. All right. Thank you for your time, Linzi. I have to go. Just don't leave without me. Of course, I could just write whatever you tell me, but if I wanted to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd still be sleeping through lectures at the academy. Fair enough. And we are officially done. Now, Linzi's dialogue will be updated over time as we progress through the main story, usually in response to the events that she's directly involved in. I'll do my best to work that into future episodes a little more organically, but for now, I think we've done everything we can. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you like to see more mini-episodes in the future? And if so, who would you like me to talk to? And hey, if you'd prefer to see me stay focused on full episodes, feel free to let me know that, too. Either way, I'll be back later this week with episode 9. For now, though, this is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official Discord channel, the fan-run wiki, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. As always, links are in the description.